Drop the point. Drop the point. Drop the point. Drop the point. No zero ham bone. Gonna drop the point. Drop the point. No zero ham bone. What is the point? Drop the point.
Hello world and welcome back to another episode of Drop the Point. I am Hambone and I'm joined today by none other than Xero. What's up, Xero?
What's up, man? You know, drop the heroes and get with the zero.
There it is, the traditional greeting for a traditional episode of Drop the Point.
I know people get tired of hearing it, but I give it to them anyways.
I don't think they're tired of hearing
Some
it.
people
If you're
are.
tired of hearing it, let us know in the comment section if you're actually tired of Xero saying it. Not that it'll matter, but we want to know. So... tonight we're going to talk about Siege and its influence on the gaming community. But before we do that, if you have any questions you want to send us related to gaming in any capacity, send it to onpoint@aimassistgaming.com and we'll answer you, or you can tweet us at aimassistgaming and we'll tweet you back. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. So, Xero, last time we talked on the podcast, we gave these listeners a pretty nice glimpse into what Rainbow Six was all about, at least from the beta standpoint. And now the full game has launched. So what's new in the full game that we didn't get to cover on the show?
There's not a whole lot new. I mean, there's some more operators that we didn't get our hands on during the beta. Some of the issues that were in the beta have seemed to clear up. Like there was a thing where it seemed like whenever you flawless victoried somebody, you wouldn't get renown, which is the currency in the game, and experience. But that seems to happen less and less. Like it happened the first night, and I don't think I've had it since the first night.
Good.
But there's not a whole lot different. There's situations now, and this game has custom games in it, believe it or not.
Wait a minute. Did you say a game from launched with custom games?
Yeah, amazing, right?
That's crazy. That's earth-shattering.
I thought that was just a staple in shooters myself, but apparently not.
I guess not.
But yeah, I mean, not a lot's changed. They're fine-tuning the game. You can actually go to their forums and have a list of things that they're either tuning or fixing. So, I mean, they're well aware of a lot of the problems in the game, but for the most part, it's just a little bit more polished than it was in the beta days before it came out. Like, days before it came out, there was definitely some refinement made, and things are better. I mean, connection, I think me and you both can say connection was a lot better. We had a few minor hiccups day one, but since day one, I haven't had those hiccups, and the connection has been a whole lot better.
Yeah, I'm still on this whole thing of dedicated servers.
Right.
We need dedicated freaking servers, especially for a game like this. I jumped on the Twitch today while I was at work just to see who was playing Siege, and it's like some Asian fellas who are in the game, and they're in the game with Americans, and you can tell that like there's a mix of players, and it's like I can't even imagine what the ping is going from, say Japan to Austin. You know what I mean? Or wherever. So dedicated servers is a definite must. And speaking of things that I would like to see in this game, we've had nothing but positive stuff to say about this game since we started playing. But what things can they or should they be changing? Or would you like to see implemented in the near future?
I would like to see them kind of address some of the operators. One in particular that stands out because he was one of the first ones I bought only because he wasn't available in the beta. So I didn't buy him for any reason, like he's the best or anything like that. But I was just like, this guy wasn't in the beta. We talked prior because we had a whole team. And so everybody was going to buy one defense, one offense. And I bought Smoke. And so there's a couple of operators I want to change, but I'm just going to harp on Smoke for a minute to kind of give people an idea of things I'd like to see change. Smoke, he has this ability to kind of throw out, it's almost like a C4, but instead it's like this canister of like poisonous gas. Now, when he throws those out, he can then detonate them like C4, which actually requires a second button push to detonate. And he carries 3 of these things, but only can throw out one at a time. And so he throws it out and then he can trigger it. And I'm like, to me, his defensive significance is the whole thing about this game is fortification, fortifying the objective to make it very difficult for the other team to come in. And to me, Smoke's ability should be something that is activated by movement. It should have some kind of proximity thing on it, to me. Or I, at the very least, should be able to throw up 3 and detonate. And even if I had to detonate them all at once, like I would still like the ability to kind of say, these are the 3 high traffic, avenues to the objective. I'm going to throw one here, here, and here. And even if I have to dispense all 3 of them at once, I'd probably get more use out of all 3 of them being dispensed at once than I do currently throwing one at a time. Because when I play Smoke, a lot of times I might only get one off in the entire, 2 or 3 rounds that I'm on defense. So I would like them to look at some of the operators, and some of this is learning these operators and how they fit into the puzzle that is Siege. But I think some of them also have some fundamental flaws. Like, they just need to be looked at and addressed slightly. I mean, like I said, Smokes isn't a huge deal. They just could address him a little bit and fine-tune him, and I think he'd be a really significant defender. Whereas right now, he's kind of like a bottom-tier defender, I would say.
Right. Going along with that, you and I had spoke right before we started recording, and we were talking about the laser sight. And how the laser sight is not able to be toggled on and off for, situational usage. So once it's on, like if you choose to activate the laser, it's on. And it's on permanently. And in a game that's ultra realistic, every little thing helps give you away. A footstep, a creak in the floor, and specifically a laser beam. And you gave the example of being 1-on-4, where it's possible to clutch in that situation. But you need a lot of things in your advantage, and having that little bobbing laser telling people, here I am, is probably not the most tactical of things that they could have done. So
yeah, I like the fact that
well.
pretty much all guns have the ability to be alternated their fire mode. Just about every gun has an alternate fire mode. I think every gun, actually, except maybe shotguns and pistols, has an alternate fire mode. I love that. I absolutely love that. I just, why can't I toggle off the laser too? Because the laser, just so we note it here, is not, you gotta be kind of keen-eyed to it, but it definitely can give you away. And in a situation like you were saying, you could definitely clutch a 1v4, as very possible. Obviously, a lot of things gotta go in your favor. Right. But if a laser's bobbing around, it kind of gives your position away, and then people could argue, well, it always gives your position away. It's like, yeah, but when it's 5v5, the pressure of that laser is like, well, that could be coming. There's a lot of if there's 5 people on the other team, they're like, well, it could be coming from this way or that way. We don't actually know which direction that laser is coming from. Whereas once it's just that person, it's like that guy's over there.
Right. And even if you look at the laser from a breach standpoint, let's say you throw a thermite on the wall and you breach, and by breach I mean once that thermite is detonated, you're going into the room. The laser is not that big of a deal in that situation. You're going to want something that gives you an increase in your hip fire, because you might have somebody tucked around to your right side, or maybe at your 6 directly behind you. So the laser in those type of aggressive situations is okay for me to be on, but we're talking about those finesse type situations where you want every aspect of stealth possible.
Yeah.
We could go on about some of that stuff, but that's a different kind of episode. I want to keep it pretty much positive here.
Well, I would, definitely it's positive. None of this is negative.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't say I don't really have any complaints with the game, and I think there's things that just could be fine-tuned. That would be nice.
And that's what
gaming, they call
right?
a quality of life change. That would just make things a little just that much better. The little extra icing on the cake.
Right, just give us that little cherry on top of the pie.
And here at Amos's Game, we like the cherry on top.
Yeah, we do like that cherry, baby. What we're talking about here basically is, like you just said, fine-tuning. And that's because we are playing this game very competitively, very realistic, very accurate call outs, a lot of teamwork, even discussing before we even load in, all right, who's taking what class for this set of bombs and blah, 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 blah. And all that leads me to wonder, is this game the next big thing in esports? Does this game have a competitive future?
Well, me and Troy were looking at the kind of release schedule of their DLC and stuff and how they're planning on addressing that. And so basically every couple of months is considered a season for Siege. And so I think it's every 2 months, or no, I think it's every quarter. So I think there's 4 seasons in a year. It's every quarter, and every quarter they're going to release 2 operators, and that's for year 1. We don't know what year 2, 3, 4, however long they plan to go with Siege is going to look like. But the great thing about having new operators is that throws a wrench in the meta, right? Games will play out differently because of new operators, what they bring to the table. Some might be, incredible. Some might not be so much, but it will always change things because there will be something new that will change the situations you're walking into.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of potential here, and I think they're doing the DLC right. A season pass holder, we're considered VIPs to Siege. It's not something you need to get your hands on the DLC. New maps come out, you get them for free. New operators come out, you can earn them with in-game currency. So you never have to spend extra money in this game. There's definitely routes you can buy, in-game currency boosters with real money. You can buy skin packs with real money. And you can buy those operators as they come out with real money if you don't want to work for the renown to, purchase them with what you earn in-game. But those, to me, are all really good ways of handling microtransactions. Really good ways of handling a season's pass, and this is a really good way of not fragmenting their community as the game evolves. As the game continues to get more content, everybody can come along for the ride. Nobody's locked out, and then if you're in love with the game like we are, you can be that VIP that gets a week access early to the new, operators and stuff.
Right. I mean, that in and of itself is a great thing. And something I think Bungie can learn from, and how you can help and get money for your company, but at the same time not fracture the community and make it so that it's like, oh, well, you didn't get that? Well, we have that, you know what I mean? And it's like, oh, well, you're just paying for earlier access. And like you said, if you're a nut for the game, that's worth it to you.
Right.
But is this game a fad? Is this something that you see in a month from now it's dead?
I don't think so.
And
I feel like, and I said this when we watched an early, I don't think it was E3, but we watched something. I don't remember what it was. Me, you, and Troy were watching something about this game, and they were doing, it was like a live stream on Twitch, and they were doing a tournament, basically showing off the game. And they were live broadcasting it, right? And this game basically was built with esports in mind the whole way through. I was watching the Siege of the Day tournament where they had Funhouse and Achievement Hunter on there, and they were doing a little battle between those guys and some other people.
Nice.
And so their casters have the ability to see everybody on the map. They can literally see a bird's eye view down on the map. They can filter ceilings off so there's no ceilings, and they can see right through the structures. This game was built with, esports in mind. They not only built the game to be incredible to play multiplayer-wise. I mean, there's nothing that you can play like this right now. There's nothing. And so that in itself is amazing for us players. But for people who want to be competitive, people who want to do tournaments, to watch these tournaments, one thing about League's a lot of fun with if you watch a tournament for League of Legends, they have a whole ESPN almost caliber broadcast.
Absolutely. And
this game is set up for that. They're going to be able to analyze these games like that. They could sit there and be like, well, look, they got a Capcan on their team that's, placed, proximity charges on this door and that door, which is really great to, funnel them through this area. All these things, right? There's so much strategy involved with this game. And it really shows with some of these pro teams that this game, I think, is definitely a very good looking potentially really good looking esport. I hope that they just hammer it out of the park. They say on their forums that they're planning on tournaments that they're setting up through the studio and all that. So yeah, I really hope for big things for this game because I absolutely love it.
Well, it's definitely has our attention right now, and like I said, I'm more and more every day. I'm seeing people from Savvy come on over and try it out, and like we talked about on the show, this is not a shooter for everyone. This is the opposite of Destiny PvP
or Call of Duty.
It's not a casual playthrough. This is a very tactical, methodical movements. I won't say slow paced, but you're definitely not holding down sprint the entire time because those footsteps are going freaking everywhere. So I have high hopes for this game moving forward, and hopefully you guys do too. If this is a game that you see yourself picking up or you've already picked it up, let us know in the comment section, or like I said, shoot us an email, because we want to know who in the community is playing this game. That's going to do it for us today, guys. Don't forget to check us out on iTunes. Look up Aim Assist Gaming, and you can find our podcast where we talk about this type of stuff and more. Check us out on all of our social media sites, YouTube, Twitter. Well, you're here at YouTube. So Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch, all at Aim Assist Gaming. I'm Hambone. He's No Zero, and we'll see you when we see you.
Peace.
Drop the point.